Okay, this is an unasked for Baptiste review of Crowz on King's Row. I've done Anna, I've done Moira, I've done Mercy, I've done Lucio, and so this is kind of killing two birds with one stone. And to absolutely nobody's surprise, I've watched this already, and we're going to be talking about positioning quite a lot, and cooldown usage as well. For sure. There's a bit of Anna on the attack and stuff to talk about there as well. But yeah, let's get into it. So there's not really any need to talk about comps because we've discussed it together, and so I've given this the seal of Drake's approval because you've got the double shield tank with the Sigma being played over the Zarya because it gives you a bit more poke on the defense and the extra shield as well. We've got the Mercy to support the Ashe for the comfort pick of Oddity, and Ashe is just a good pick anyway. And the Ashe complements the Junkrat, which Postman is good at, and is just a great spam comp. Again, that's why you use the Sigma as well, more spam. And the Baptiste is then just required because of the double shield and because the Mercy is going to be pocketing the Ashe quite a lot. And if the Ashe goes down, then she can pocket the Junk. And so the Baptiste just works perfectly in this because you need a lot of output of AoE healing for your tanks. And you need because you have no defensive ultimate. For fuck's sake, I pressed that by accident. So we've got no defensive ultimate. You know, Valk is not a defensive ultimate, Window is not a defensive ultimate, but you have the defensive cooldown of the lamp. So it's just such a powerful combo. Such a powerful combo. And you have people to shoot through the window. You have yourself, you have the Ashe, you have Fire Strike, you have Sigma Spheres. Everybody can, everyone can shoot the Junk, can shoot through the window, everyone can shoot through the window. So it's a really good comp. It's a really good comp, basically. So there's nothing to talk about there, which is something I usually do. So yes, on we go. So, first of all, try not to take fire strikes to the face. There's not really any need. If you're not weaving any damage in, there's no damage being done, you don't really need to be stood here. And you're kind of, this is, So if you're just healing, you can be here and then you rotate. But one thing, this is to maximize the character. So I'm just going to throw it in there. But one thing you can do if you're not really needing to heal, you are now, your Junkrat, So first bit of positioning, you can't see your other DPS here, and because the Mercy is pocketing the Ashe, this is your job. So in the position you are at, you can't see him, so you have no idea if he needs healing. So first of all, it's not a good position. This is a good position. Now you can see everybody. What you want to be doing with Baptiste always is you basically just want to be in a position where you can see all of the people that you're supposed to be healing, your whole team, preferably, and then still be able to weave in some damage. Like, for example, you don't want to be, I know you would never do this, but you don't want to be here, because in order to look at your team, you have to go from here, and then look at the enemy, you have to go boom, boom, boom. That's way too much movement, plus you're in line of sight. So where you're at is okay, but you can't see your team. So just a little bit further back, and then you can weave in damage, and then you can rotate to the right as well, because that's your escape. So yeah, not ideal. Could be a tiny bit better. On we go. Yeah, see, now this is better, but you can't do any damage. So I didn't say the thing I was going to say. So one thing you can do out of combat with Baptiste is just prior to expecting damage, you can just stand. Don't stand still, of course, but you can just stand. Isn't that pretty? You can just stand still and shoot up, because obviously your healing grenades are projectile, and they take, I don't know, it's like 3 or 4. I don't know how long it takes, 3 or 4 or 5 seconds for them to come back down again. So just before you're about to have an engagement, you could just fire a whole load of grenades up in the air. As soon as people start, then you're back into your position. And then whilst you're doing stuff here, healing, you've got twice the amount of grenades coming down into the location that you're expecting damage. It's just a little thing you could do to maximize Baptiste. But anyway, I'd prefer you to focus on positioning and ability cooldowns. But there is that for you anyway. So back we go. So we've already lost Odd and burns the res, which is fine. But it's the first check of, am I going to win the 1v1? But so I'm taking an off angle and I'm fine. But Tornado is not, and you're still shooting, and neither is Postman, and you didn't see him again. So again, your positioning is not great. You're too far forward. You're in your tanks. You're in your Reinhardt. Just be a little bit further back. Just a time. Ooh, look at that. Just be a little bit further back, then you can see everybody. And then, yeah, you don't do damage when you need to heal. And at the moment, and all that time, you should have been healing. So, yeah. Now, you haven't used your AoE healing at all. And, I mean, you're being really sparing with it, which is good, but I would be a little bit less sparing, to be honest, because the situation you're in, or you were in 2 seconds ago, is that Tornado needed healing. Junkrat needed healing. You need healing. And remember, your Mercy is pocketing your Ashe. So you can't rely on that, because they're on an off angle. So that was a perfect time. 3 people to heal. AoE heal. Perfect. Now, you got someone, because look, you're half health. McCree headshot, you're dead. Now, you could blame me for that, because I should immediately react to that and cover off the angle with the shield, but, Sigma's been nerfed. I can't necessarily do that all the time. But yes, your positioning. If you're not shooting, hide. And he still needs healing, and so do you. And now you're 65 health. So, yes, I mean, good. It should have happened, but you still can't see your Junkrat. Alright, so this is good. You're hiding back. Again, Odd loses a 1v1. Where was she? And where is Nut? Yeah, she's up here and Nut is over there. I don't understand why he's over here. But if he was leaving her, he should have said so. And then she should have been more careful. Anyway, so that's bad. We're down 1. Good, yes. See, everyone's full, so you can DPS. Now they're not. This is scary. Now this is early in the fight. Nobody has any ultimates. So you could use your drone here because you're really low health and you don't want to get picked. Yeah, okay. Oh, crossing a choke when your tanks are up there. Not a good idea. Yeah, you are lucky to be alive. But this is good. Good, just hide. Whoa, you're still low health. I don't know why you're peeking. Johnny is there. You could be dead, and you should be screaming for heals, or going and getting a health pack. You could have quite easily, from here, in complete safety, crossed and got this health pack. Or afterwards gone and got the mini in the hotel. Because you are, this is really bad. You shouldn't be this low. Yeah, good. Okay. So now... Shoot. Everybody's full health. Everybody's full health. Okay. Yeah. It's a bit risky at postman, but... So, yeah, good. I was going to say, you could weave in a bit more shooting. But also heal. Also heal. You haven't managed your ammo very well. But, yeah. Don't do any one thing with Baptiste. You know, you shot like 4 or 5 shots without healing once. Try and alternate. Try and weave it in, you know. Don't take more than a couple of shots without a quick grenade.
You all look like you needed some healing.
They didn't. So that wasn't a great use of your AoE heal. But then it doesn't matter because there should be a, you know, they're staggering a bit. We're getting stagger kills, so it should be alright. Alright. Okay, so yeah, it's only tiny little things. But again, you are in your tanks. I just want you to be a bit further back. You're just right in us. So to look from me to him is quite a big turn. You know, just here and then it's like that. You're just a bit too close. But it's not a massive issue yet. There haven't been any big issues yet. But so this, you're not doing anything. You shot 3 healing grenades for no reason. So this is where you could be doing the shooting the grenades in the sky thing, because this is an open map. Obviously you can't do it with ceiling maps. But yeah, you're doing nothing. So you should either be trying to shoot or doing the grenade thing I mentioned. Because you've just been doing nothing for ages. Still. So that's 6 healing grenades that have achieved nothing and you haven't reloaded. So there's nice shots. But yeah, so this is your first big mistake. And it's a massive mistake. So the call is made, they're going through hotel. And instead of backing to safety, you cross into complete open territory. So again, this is the whole thing. You should always have your tanks in front of you. You should always have your team in front of you. And you are just 1v2ing in the open. This is a massive mistake. And look at that. I don't know how that shot doesn't hit you. Look at that. That's cool. Yeah, this is your first big mistake, and it is a team fight losing mistake. So like you're just 1v2ing again, and you should be back here, ideally. You retreat to safety, and so that you can see your entire team. So I'm not sure where you've done that. And also, look what you've done it for. Yourself. Yourself. Imagine if you're over there. I'm not sure if you are thinking that the Riptire is the enemies, but yeah, that's unlucky, a postman. But it wasn't a great position. Again, ideally he'd be over here, knowing that they're coming through hotel. He'd be here. He could Riptire into hotel, kill him. You know, again, it's the falling, but it's the positioning. If they're being aggressive and they're pushing through hotel, we should be retreating here. You went into the open and 1v2'd and didn't heal. And remember, that's your job. That's your primary. So yeah, that's a pretty huge mistake. Now they did throw the kitchen sink at us. They used 5 ults. And we used 3. But still, that could have been a fight win for sure if we had actually played correctly. Because if you'd fallen back here, you know, we could have windowed, you could have kept your Ryan alive with the immortality at least for a little while, and their Ryan would have been by himself and we could have killed him. Anyway. So yeah, that's your first big mistake. And it's a positioning one.
lost.
So this is nice. And this is, I think, we talk about getting aggressive. And I know, yeah, we call to use the window. Unfortunately, because we get 2 kills by odd, which is great. And we should be really aggressive. And actually getting into their faces in spawn. Because we're 6v4. But the thing is, when you do this, you don't heal a single time. Not once. You're not healed once. So, yeah. I'm dead already, Crowz. But, yeah, ideally we would have pushed a bit forward and done it a bit closer. But,
My turn.
I mean, we're still up. And there is a possibility that you could immortality the res. But that moment has passed, I think, a little bit. But, so we've got kills, but I mean, it's just not the best positioning for it. So you know he's there. So now retreat to safety.
Got you good as new.
Yeah, retreat, because that's it. Further back. Again, you can't see your Junkrat. Oh, you should be able to. I thought no, it's Oddity. You can't see Oddity because you're literally inside her. Yeah. Yep, okay, but don't shoot into a Zarya bubble. Just a little bit further back because you can get killed by Maz. You're low, don't peek. And again, you could AoE heal. You need it, Tornado needs it. So I would want you to be here and then move forward. Yeah, here and then move forward. Unfortunately, I think this is not a great commit from us because now we are down numbers. We were ahead on numbers and now we are down on numbers because they have spawn advantage. We've just lost 2. So committing here is not a great idea. We should be kind of dying on point. But, yeah. So now do you AoE? He goes for the shatter. He gets 3. He gets 3. So AoE heal. And then I would just, we're not going to win. So commit the lamp. Commit the lamp, like, immediately. Yeah, you're a bit late. Unfortunate. And now just down point. And again, the AoE heal is late. Do it early. Do it in advance, not as an afterthought. Anyway, cool. It was, like I said, a lost fight anyway.
Well, it could be worse.
See this? This is where you want to... No, you're walking forward again. So this is not... I can review Tornado and do it later because we haven't even had a fight yet. We're just poking and he's lost his shield. So AoE immediately. I mean, yeah, your Maz is in great position. You could die so easily. I would have AoE healed straight away. Because that's not doing anything. That was completely wasted. Completely wasted.
Activating the barrier.
Yes, but heal. Yes, but heal. What are you looking at? Yeah. Again, position. I don't know why you moved over into an aggressive position. Where you could and possibly should. You should have just stayed back. I mean, look where I am. Stayed back over here. Safety. Safety. You want one tank to take an off angle. So Tornado is not doing the wrong thing. But you following him is the wrong thing. Because if he gets shattered, it's just him. And then you can immortality him if needed. I mean, they have grab, so we need to use that. But yeah, this is it's good immortality, but yeah, ideally you want to have, you know, used it from living. Good. And then yeah, good shots. Everyone is actually full health, so it's okay. And then we do win the fight. He does need healing. You don't have your ult. No, you do. Okay. But then, yeah, you could tell Nut to heal Postman. Because you have your ult now. So I'm curious what you have your... I'm going to talk about key bindings on console for Baptiste, because I think I have a really good setup, and because he's got a very complicated kit, which is not really ideal for controllers. There's so much that you need to be able to use without your fingers, your thumbs, sorry, coming off the joysticks. So yeah, you should be telling Nut to heal Ryan. Okay, so yeah, we're thinking of window. I mean, we know this fight goes well, so I'm going to skip through this. But yeah, that's good. Again, I still like you to be a little bit further back, so that, you know, and then you can walk forward to use the ult. Anyway, yeah, let's go through this.
Let them up.
Yeah, we know this is good. It's good that they waste Bob. But yeah, the only mistake you make is walking towards the Bob and shooting when you can see someone who's critical right in front of you. We just want to fight. You can AoE heal, pump heals into her, it's fine. Yep. That's what saved her life, and me putting a shield out saved her life. If I hadn't done that, she would have been dead because you missed your heals. Anyway. And yes, nice. I like the little teabag on Maz, which is great. So, the next fight. Now, we do have tools. They have three. They have 3 tools. And there's 2 reasons why we lose this fight. Is 1, people's positioning, namely our DPS. And then 2, because they use both support ults, and we don't have a support ult to counter it. We have an immortality, which could really help, but it doesn't. I think your positioning as well. So the first thing that is bad is, from what I remember, Oddity egos the 1v1 and goes ahead. Now Nut just is wrong. This is a misplay by Nut. Or Oddity not telling him, but Nut, I don't know what he's doing beaming me. He just doesn't know how to play Mercy. So this is a big misplay by Nut, but it's also a misplay by Odd, who she stays. And it's just the good shots. Good shots by Maz. It's a great shot by Maz. But Nut is healing tanks for some reason. You know, he doesn't know how to play Mercy in this comp. And Postman's a bit aggressive here. So we've lost the Ashe. And Postman is aggressive. And because of his positioning, he has no safety to retreat to. His retreat is dangerous. And with the Discord, he just gets beamed down by Olive, which is nice by her. She notices he's isolated. So this is just really bad play by our DPS and our Mercy. But then, so you're like, here is everything for you up until now is fine. It's not your fault. So they can't. They've just invested too. So you need to be. You've made the same mistake as Postman now. You've moved into a position that is bad, and you're in your Reinhardt, whereas ideally you'd be, you know, to the side of your Reinhardt. So this AoE immediately, and Maz has been really smart because he's won the 1v1. He's killed 1 DPS, which means he can then take an aggressive angle. This is just great play by Maz. and you get dynamited and killed, and your AoE heal is a bit late again. But there's small issues from you falling into the same mistake as Postman, but really the issue is on our DPS and our Mercy for not playing that right. We could have potentially won that fight. Potentially. Anyway, we'll talk about next fight after this. Okay, so next fight. So everyone's just regrouping. So there's a nice pick by Oddity. I've already watched this, so I don't need to do it again. She gets a nice pick, but again, well, she doesn't really wait for Nut to be with her. She should be waiting for Nut to be with her, but also, she maybe when she gets the first shot, she should have dropped or fallen back, but she just stays up there and dies. So, I think that's both of their faults, really. Nut should be immediately looking for her, because he's literally doing nothing, standing on the Reinhardt. But maybe Oddity should have just waited a second. So I like this, you're having your... so interesting, you were able to move your thumbstick and hold the crouch button. So I'm curious what your setup is, because maybe you don't, it's already good. But I haven't seen you use it. That's the first time I've seen you crouch and prepare a jump as Baptiste and aim. So yeah, I still think there's stuff to talk about there. So this is, yeah, that's the thing. In this, like, yes, sometimes as Baptiste you want to be on the high ground, but they have 3 things that can just annihilate you. They have an Ashe, they have a McCree, and if you get discorded, like if you're on high ground and you get discorded, you immediately just have to back away, because you can just get bursted so fast. So there are other high grounds, there are other places you could be safety-wise, and I'll just talk about that in a second. AoE heal, immediately. See, again, it's just you don't use it when you should, and then you do use it when you shouldn't. It's a bit odd. Because that would have given you a lot of ult charge. It would have given you a lot of ult charge. Okay, so we're being pushed, but Tornado's just got a big, nice shatter, but he is deep to do it. So you should just, boom, do a grenade and press your AoE heal, because I'm low. And that gives me a bit of healing over time and allows you to look at Tornado. Good. Yep, but look at Tornado. So it's unlucky. You reacted just a little bit late. I mean, this is possibly a bit too difficult or hard to expect, but if you see someone getting charged, and you can see the trajectory in which they're going, which you could have thrown the immortality, the disc, over there just in advance, rather than waiting. But I can't fault you too much for that. It's just maybe watching it, hearing the shatter, and then thinking, okay, where's my Reinhardt? Because Nut did Valk, so you didn't need to focus on me too much. Plus, I was in a really safe location. There's just one Reinhardt running at me. That was it. So, anyway, you've lost your Reinhardt. I don't know if it's resable, but we just want to stabilize. So you really need to play safe. And this is not safe. This is what we're talking about. You're in front of your Sigma shield, if your Sigma shield is even there. Which is not, because I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to just leave it out. Their Reinhardt was low. His shield is low. Plus, I am aware that he has shatter, and I am trying to react to it. So I need to have my shield out. Like, I can't have it. Sorry, not out, but withdrawn. I need it, the ability to just use it instantaneously. So that's why I'm not shielding here. You can see I'm not using it at all. I'm not using it. And this is, I mean, it's good of me, but it's also bad of Olive. In fact, I kind of, even though I'm reviewing you, I kind of want to watch that just from her perspective, just to see how long. Because I know that I'm holding the grasp when she goes for this. Because I know that she wants to do this because it's a great opportunity for them to turn the fight around. Because right now it's kind of close, but it's just slightly in our favor, especially as we has the Valkyrie out. But yeah, a grab would turn it massively in their favor. So let's watch. So I mean, to be fair on her, that is actually really close. You could see what she was looking at. She saw 4 people, and she didn't see me grasp. The Rhine shield just came right, you know. So, to be honest, she said that this was bad of her, but it's not. It's just really good from me. I know that's me tooting my own horn, but honestly, it was. Watch it again from her perspective. So she's thinking about it. She wants to turn the fight. She sees 4 people, and she goes, grab. And I do it. Honestly, Olive, that is no way your fault at all. Other than the fact of knowing that I have grasp and thinking, oh, he still has grasp. That was an instant reaction. That was an instant reaction from me. Like, you know, that was not your fault. But see, now I'm using the shield because I know, and they have shatter. Anyway, back to Crowz. This is suicide. Like, because my shield is going to drop at any moment. And you're right in front. Like, again, what can you see from here? Nothing. All you can see is a load of enemies. You can't see him. You can't see me, and I'm, you know, you can't see anybody. Now, nobody does need healing right now, but in 1 second, they are going to need to. You could be, I mean, you could be up on the high ground here. You could be further back. You could be here. You could be jostling between here and jumping up, you know, ready to avoid. Having your jump jets on, you know, primed, ready to use, ready to go. Because you don't want to get shattered. You want to avoid getting shattered. But what you do next is the thing that is crazy. Because you're lucky, you're behind the payload, you don't get hit. But you get shattered, your immediate reaction to this should be to back off. But you walk forwards. When you're low health and there's people that have just been shattered, yeah. You can't do that. We still don't have our Rhine. If we do, he's just coming back. Yeah, he's just coming back. He's just charged back, so he's using the, you know, and he's even Tornado using the hold X to get a bit more distance is a bit crazy. But he's back in there straight away. Anyway. So that was an error from you, and then the thing is, so you've just seen on your screen, Junkrat is dead, because Nut made the poor choice of rezzing you when someone was low health. And you don't res when someone is low health. You stabilize and then you res. So this is a mistake from Nut, because he let Postman die to just the damage over time of the dynamite. So it's a misplay from Nut. And then, after making that mistake, you walk out into the open again. Immediately after you've just done it. So you make the same mistake twice in a row. Like, ideally, where I would want you to avoid, like I said, you could either be going up and down, jostling from here to here, and then when, you know, because here, the Ash can't shoot you. You're safe. You're on the edge. You're fine. You won't get shattered. But as they start to push, where do I want you? Here. And now look. Look at this. You can see the entirety of your team and them when they push. So, and then where do you fall? You know, you can fall back. You can use natural cover here, and you can fall back and live. And you have high ground. So anyway, you're dead. We're down 2. We've lost the res. They've got a bob. This is a lost fight. And the only other thing that I want to say is we get stagger kills. This is very bad of Oddity, and this is very bad of Nut. They should be dying on the payload, because then the payload wouldn't get this extra movement. And if this payload, you see it gets the extra movement, that is going to allow them to cap, because the payload moved an extra 2 feet, 3 feet in this moment. But the next mistake you make is coming out of spawn here.
That could have gone better.
Why is it? No. It's coming out like so. We're coming out. You wait for your main tank, which is great. You should do that. We have time. But the mistake you make is you follow him. You have window. We have an ultimate here, and we have Bob. You should stand here, use your window, pump heals into Tornado whilst he contests the point, and weave in some damage as well through the window. But like, what do? You just walk in. What are you doing? He can just kill you now. You can get, you know, if you're in the position that you were, again, you're in a window, you have immortality, you have natural cover as well. You just, you know, you stand here, even a tiny bit further forward, you window, you shoot from here, you can do loads of damage, and anyone pressures you like the Zen or whatever, you just hide. You just hide, peek, throw grenades, keep them alive. Throw Mentality to keep the Reinhardt alive. But what you do, I mean, you could argue you get unlucky with the charge, but you're just in absolutely the wrong place, and you've not used your ultimate. So, anyway, that's the round. That's the round. So, yeah, some definite things that we talked about in the moment that went not great.
0 to 3.
Okay, so the things that I was going to show you, I've come into this map just because the training range it doesn't have a sky. I mean, it has something in the way, so I can't show you. But first of all, let me talk about my setup, because you might find it useful, and like I said, this is for anyone else, so they might find it useful as well. I have crouch on R1 and jump on L1, because that's what I have for a lot of heroes like Lucio, Genji, Hanzo, anyone that I really need to be able to use my thumbstick. It's really useful. And then that means I have to move some things. Now, just like on my Lucio, the thing that I don't use very often, and I don't need to aim with, your AO heal, you don't need to aim for that. Therefore, I've put that on X, because I don't need to aim with it, and it's got a reasonably long cooldown, so I'm not going to be using my thumb onto the X that often. So I've chucked that onto X. Yeah? 14 seconds. It's a long cooldown, so I'm not going to be using X very often. So that's where I have that one, because that's a waste of a bumper. That's a waste of a bumper. Hence R1, crouch. And now I can aim, and I can have crouch set up, and then when I want to, I can jump. And that helps with healing and stuff, because jumping on Baptiste is very useful for knowing where your grenades are going to go. Because it's much easier to hit there than it is like this. Here it is. See, I had to adjust. Whereas if I'm like this, way easier. Also makes you harder to hit, you know. So lots of jumping can be done without interfering or stopping you from doing anything. Now, the other thing that you need to aim with is you need to aim your immortality. That's very important. So you can't be taking your thumb off. So you can't have your immortality set to L3, to X, or to anything else like that. And as I just said, and you can see at the bottom right, my immortality is set to L3. So again, doing this from elevated height is way easier than if I was to throw it from here. Yeah? I mean, a good way of doing it is just shoot a grenade. Such a long cooldown. Shows the importance of it. It's like 25 seconds or whatever. Is it 30? I can't remember. But it's a long cooldown. But if you didn't know, if you want to fire your drone in a specific place, it's going to go exactly where your grenade is. Yeah, that's the center of it, as you can see. So just fire off a quick grenade, and that's where your immortality is going to go. So this allows me to do a lot. You know, the other thing, you know, shoot, heal. That's in the, you know, whatever you like. Is there anything else to... So the thing that I was going to talk about is how long does it take? I'm curious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 seconds. Or was that 5 seconds? I started on 1. Whatever. 5 or 6 seconds is what it takes. So when you're here and, you know, you're going to do some stuff, you might shoot a bit. But before things get going, you know, 6 seconds before they're going to come there, just fire off a bunch of rounds, and now you got, you know, double the amount of heals just in between fights, just 7 seconds, 8 seconds before a fight is going to kick off. It's just something you can do to maximize things on Baptiste. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's the Baptiste stuff.